welcome to my channel. This is AC Starlord, aka Austin, and welcome to this new episode, this new video of me talking about, or doing a review of Nicolas Cage's new movie, Unbearable Waste of Talent. Now, this movie is a movie about Nicolas Cage, so if you like Nicolas Cage, and you like his other movies like National Treasure, Face Off, Moonstruck, Con Air, this is a movie for you. Again, I only mentioned those three movies at the beginning of this because that's the movies they mentioned in this movie. They also mentioned Maddie later on in this movie, but that's just later on in this movie because I'm about to tell you. So basically, this movie takes place in a fictional real life version of Nicolas Cage, where Nicolas Cage is trying to get back on top, but they don't call him Nicolas Cage; they call him Nick Cage. And he's trying to get himself back on top on the big screen, the big show, the big time, you know. And he's not having any good luck. He went up in the beginning of this. You see him meet up with a producer, and the producer said, "You don't have to. I'll let you call you for if we call you to read." He forces himself to read on top of him, basically forced him to read upon himself to read right in front of him. Also, before we got to that part of him reading, there's a president's daughter of this country that he's going to go to later in the movie, that was watching Con Air, the very ending of Con Air, and then she gets kidnapped while she was watching it, trying to run away from the guys. So, go back to Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage forces himself to read the script that he got from this director, and this director kind of didn't like that, so he talked to his agent, which is Neil Patrick Harris. He plays a different person, obviously. Says, hey, look, they wanted to go a different direction, so he's also trying to focus also on that. From there, it's on there they wanted to go a different direction, so he's still struggling with that. And on top of that, he's trying to have a regular, normal life with his ex-wife and his daughter, because his daughter turned 16. He basically said, sang a song, funny song, saying like life is a bunch of failures, even for if you want to be in this talent. I mean, this world of being an actor that has talent. And then even they had a therapy session with his therapist, and they had him and his daughter had a therapy session with his therapist, telling him how all he does is watch old movies and forces her to watch it. And the therapist asked her, "How do you like that movie? How do you like the old movie you watched?" "I don't like it as much as he did. That's all he talks about is movies and stuff like that." Excuse me while I take a drink from the blue raspberry National Flavors prime drink that KSI and Logan made. It's not sponsored. I just want to take a drink because it's pretty good. Not that bad stuff. This is pretty good. I mean, I can't say that this is not bad. Logan Paul says it's better than Gatorade, but I won't say it, but it's pretty good. So, back to Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage all he does is watch movies and analyzes movies, talks about them, and he's like, "Well, isn't that what everyone does? Because I am an actor. And that's what I do for a living." So basically, they had that session. It's his birthday party. He couldn't get into his hotel room. He'd call his agent. Agent told him about this deal about this guy having a birthday party or his party, and he wants you to be there as a special guest. And then on top of that, he sent him a script. He never sent him the script, but eventually Nicolas Cage gets there, and he doesn't want to be there at all because he doesn't know about this weird guy named Javi, which is Pedro Pascal, which is Mandalorian. FYI, they become buddies and eventually become really good buddies and friends, like a buddy cop movie. And then everything from there is fine, and they watch Pendleton because Pendleton is pretty much the greatest movie in cinema, which they joke about in this movie. And Nicolas Cage. No, it's not like they have like all three movies. They talk about their three favorite movies of all time. Pendleton's one of Javi's movies, and he's like, "No, that can't be good." And they watched it, and he's like, "Told you, man. I effing told you, man. It's great." Um, so they become buddies and all that stuff. And eventually, he sends him over a script, and then he goes to a bar because he's feeling good that night. He has a sidebar for Tiffany Haddish and some other guy, some other comedic actor. That's they work. Tiffany Haddish and this other guy work for the U.S. government. They get Nicolas Cage to work for the U.S. government because Javi is. I have a drug deal. I had a head of a drug cartel, and then we'll be finding out about Harvey. Harvey's not really part of the drug cartel later on in this movie, but he gets on this little mission to try to stop Harvey, but he wants, and the U.S. government wants him to kill Harvey. So does Harvey's cousin, which they introduced in this movie as well, wants him to kill Nicolas Cage, but he can't do it. And then from there, they try to kill each other, but they can't. And then they take an acid trip. They storm out this movie that they're making together, and the stuff that happens in this movie, with the drug deal go wrong, and everything ends up becoming a movie in this. But also, in the process, Javi sends his wife and kids here because he thinks his Nicolas Cage's mental block is wrong for making this movie, and so Javi's cousin kidnaps or steals their daughter for ransom. Blah blah. Nicolas Cage has to play a drug leader and all that stuff, and then it ends up working. But also, all this stuff ends up becoming a movie, and he gets back on top again. So essentially, this movie is a Nicolas Cage movie about Nicolas Cage struggling to be on top of the world, trying to get himself back on top of the world. So it's a really funny buddy comedy movie, essentially all mixed into one. And I also talked about how they don't like how they both those characters didn't like the buddy comedy movies. They just don't like comedy movies just out of nowhere, but they're in one. So, and they talked about his previous movies like Con Air, like I said, National Treasure, Moonstruck, um, Face Off. They even have statue. Even Javi has a statue of him in Face Off. His two golden guns, his chainsaw from Maddie, the teddy bear from Con Air, and all that stuff. So it's a pretty amazing movie if you like Nicolas Cage movies. Now, if you're not a fan of Nicolas Cage and you're with a significant other that loves Nicolas Cage, go with them. Just go with them. That's just what they like to enjoy. Nicolas Cage. I probably enjoy Nicolas Cage more than my significant other right now, but she also liked a little bit of Nicolas Cage as much as me. But you get my point. Just go with them, support them, support this movie. If you go with a significant other, support him or her. It depends on who likes Nicolas Cage. Support this movie. Make Nicolas Cage go on top of the big screen. Because I don't want him to be in a low budget movie. Because the next movie I'm about to watch with Nicolas Cage is Pig, and that's a low budget movie straight on Blu-ray, disc or DVD. Depends on where you get it. And if you're also just a single person like Nicolas Cage, support it. If you're just a family and you guys like Nicolas Cage movies, support that. I'm just, like I said, I want you guys to support this movie as much as you can because this movie is funny as hell. It's good. It is out there. It's Nicolas Cage. He even has an alternate personality in this movie called Nicky, not Little Nicky, not Adam Sandler's little Nicky, but Nicky. And Nicky tells him what he should be doing, how he should be feeling, and he brings it. Nicky is a younger version of Nicolas Cage, so he says, you're a mother, Nicolas Cage." He yells out like he was in the original. He yells out like he's in his original movies where he has a moment of yelling, and so this another version of Nicolas Cage yells out like his old version of himself. "You're Nicolas Cage," or whatever's the yelling situation in his old movies. So yeah, they even bring back his old Nicolas Cage-ness. And also, again, I'm also gonna do a video catching you guys up on Doctor Strange, the cartoons, comic books, even the movie Doctor Strange, the first one, and maybe What If, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and then maybe if I can get we'll get into it. Spider-Man: Homecoming. So you can essentially what Nicolas Cage. I mean, not Nicolas Cage. I mean, essentially what Doctor Strange is going to be doing, and Multiverse of Madness. So that's pretty much all the stuff I'm doing. If you like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and tell your friends about this. Tell your friends about this. Hit the notification bell, like it, all that good stuff. Don't forget to drink your Prime now. I'm just kidding. You know how to drink this stuff, but don't forget to drink your energy drink or your whatever high performance drink or whatever it is. And that's it. Again, support this movie on Unbearable Waste of Massive Talent. Go see it in theaters and enjoy Nicolas Cage, and then also enjoy Doctor Strange after that. So yeah. So peace out, or what Nicolas Cage would say, peace out.